Welcome to the Full Stack Development Opportunities and Challenges webinar, co-organized by Wiley and Everything Tech. In this webinar, we will talk about essential technologies for full stack development, benefits of being a full stack developer, challenges of being a full stack developer, career opportunities for full stack developer, and how to get started with full stack development. Before we begin, I would like to introduce you our today's guest. Please welcome Ms. Eden Adikalam. She is from the talent acquisition team of Capgemini, and Mr. Vivek Desai, who is a technology expert from Intel. They will share their thoughts with you after the presentation. To start with, I would like to introduce you this full stack Java development book authored by me and published by Wiley. This book covers front-end, back-end, and database, the entire end-to-end web development process, REST web services with JSON, and it also takes you through a step-by-step project. Now, let's explore the essential technologies for full stack development. In the front end, we have HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap. HTML is useful for creating web pages. CSS is useful to add style to these HTML pages. CSS controls various elements like fonts, colors, text decoration, background, etc. jQuery, which is built on top of JavaScript, is useful to add interactivity to the HTML page. And Bootstrap is useful to make your HTML pages look nice on all the different screen sizes like mobile phones, iPads, etc. On the backend side, we have various choices. For enterprise development, Java is the preferable language, and for AI, machine learning, data science, Python is preferable. .NET is a proprietary framework of Microsoft which offers C#, VB.NET, and ASP.NET. PHP is another popular language to develop web applications. There are various content management systems out there which are built on PHP. On the database side, we have DBMS, RDBMS, which stands for Relational Database Management System, and NoSQL Database. We will explore these database systems in another webinar. Cloud platform is another important element in full stack development. Again, we will have a separate session on cloud technologies. So for now, let's move on. Coming on the benefits, employability is the biggest benefit that comes with the knowledge of full stack development. Becoming a full stack developer, you will have end-to-end knowledge of the entire technology stack, which will help you to increase your productivity that will eventually fetch high income. You will become a go-to guy in your company. Having the entire knowledge of the full stack will prepare you for the role of software architect. However, benefits also come with some challenges. Technology is a fast-changing field and it demands a constant learning to keep yourself updated and stay employable. Companies have big expectations from the full stack developers as they want them to take the end-to-end responsibility. There are various career opportunities for a full stack developer. You could start as a prototype developer where you will be working on cutting-edge products. As we have talked earlier, full stack developers are well prepared for the role of software architect as they know the entire technology stack and be able to design a better system. This knowledge will also assist the full stack developer to handle the development lead role, which eventually lead to the role of CTO. Now you must be wondering how to get started with full stack development. You could start from the front end where you can learn creating basic web pages with HTML, CSS, jQuery, and Bootstrap. Then you can move to backend where you can choose the language you prefer and start learning. If you have interest in enterprise application development, you could select Java. For a developer, it is important to learn about version control system. We will cover this in a separate webinar. The backend logic can be exposed via web service APIs, which use REST, SOAP, JSON, etc. to share data with the front end. When you work in a team, you need to make sure the code can compile at the end of the day. This is where continuous integration plays a role. We will have a separate webinar on this later. And finally, you can learn about cloud technologies and various platforms. Again, we will cover this in a separate webinar. With this, I would like to conclude this webinar. Thank you for your time and I hope to see you in the next webinar.
Hi, this is Vivek Desai from Intel. I'm working in the field of VLSI since past 8 years. VLSI stands for Very Large Scale Integration, which is part of microelectronics. Currently, I'm working as a design lead. Mayur gave us a very good introduction of full stack development and how you can apply it in your career. So let's talk about development in general. So you have a thought or an idea which you want to convert it into reality or say a product. So how do you go about it? The process of doing that exactly is called as development. Ever since the transistor was invented in 1960s, the technology has started to come alive and now it's literally part of our lives. And this journey was not easy. There have been so many developments in terms of hardware, software, and going hand in hand we have reached to this stage. Nowadays we see a lot of complex developments happening around, but even though it looks complex, it's made of lot of simple things bound together. We as engineers are required to find solutions to problems in smarter ways to ease human life and improve quality of life. And one of the ways to do that is programming. There are n number of languages which are available nowadays for which you don't even require to know how actually the hardware works when you write that program. It's been so simple nowadays. There are huge libraries available for each language which makes the programming very simple. But irrespective of any programming language you are coding in, your approach and thinking matters a lot. The way you approach to a problem and the way you understand the problem differs you from other programmers. Understanding the problem is half the problem solved. If you're thinking of making career into software development industry, then you should have very good interest in creative thinking. You should have will to understand the problems and think about the solutions. And of course your basics should be very strong. Everything boils down around the basic knowledge that you have, and your approach towards a problem matters a lot. There are n number of ways, but the way you approach to a problem, that differs you from others. I am working in the VLSI field, which mostly is related to transistor level hardware designing, but we are also required to do fair amount of scripting, say in Tcl or Perl, etc. So by my experience I can say that irrespective of any language, any programming should have all the cases, corner cases covered. Your program should be scalable, it should be reusable, and it should be optimal, especially in the era where huge data is being pumped in and out every second. An optimized program is very important, and all you get to a level of expert is by practicing, is by hands-on experience. So keep practicing and coding smartly. All the best. Thank you for inviting me, Mayur.
Hi, my name is Eden and I am a technical recruiter with Capgemini. So I wanted to share a few details on how do we recruit candidates, or mostly Capgemini does hiring on a Java developer. So while hiring, we specially look for people who are strong on technical skills. Like if we put them in a difficult situation, then how will they manage the situation by using their programming skills. So for being a full stack developer doesn't mean that you have necessarily mastered everything required to work with the front end or back end, but it means that you are able to work on both sides and understand what is going on when building an application. So for a full stack developer, it is very important to know about memory storage and relational databases. strong knowledge on SQL databases and linking them to backend languages. So, here you should be proficient at understanding, creating, and manipulating the database query. So, while hiring, we mostly look for a candidate who is proficient in multiple programming languages such as Java, PHP, C Sharp, Python, Ruby, Perl, etc. Because most of the core businesses need to be written in these languages. Maybe not all will be needed, but you also have to master the language grammar and to be very familiar with how to structure, design, implementation, and testing of the project based on one language or more language. Here, I would like to share an example. If you choose Java, then you need to master the object oriented design and development, design patterns, J2EE, based components of the development, and so on. So, here the candidate also needs to know the implementation of front end technologies. So, you need to master basic front end technologies like HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, and further the front end frameworks such as jQuery, AngularJS, or React. So, these are the basic necessities that we usually look in a candidate. It totally depends on how strong the candidate is on their basic skills and how well do they utilize this, depends upon the situation. So thank you for having me.